All right, so week 1, day 1, W1D1, solving proportions. So again, a lot of this stuff you've seen before, okay? We're just practicing it because this is stuff you're going to see in the state test, so we just want to go over it, remind you, hey, this is how you do it, and then we move on, okay? So let me start off with a couple of these types of problems that are kind of on the easier side, but just before we do that, I just want to give you guys, I just want to remind you guys of how to do proportions, okay? Proportions is when a fraction equals to a fraction. So let me just put this right here. So proportion is when a fraction equals to a fraction. Okay, so a proportion is when a fraction equals to a fraction. So right here you see A over B equal to C over D. So what you're supposed to do is multiply diagonally. Now remember, this is an equal sign in between. Sometimes I see people accidentally do this when they're multiplying fractions. So if it said like A over B times C over D, they multiply diagonally. That's not what you do. Just when it says equals in between them, okay? So you're going to multiply A times D equal to B times C. Okay? So you're going to go diagonally. Like that and like that. Now remember, that's just if it's an equal sign. Okay, so I'm going to put a little note right here. Don't confuse this with this. Okay? A lot of people do that. They confuse the two. Okay? Because they just see, oh, he said fraction and fraction. That's what I remember, fraction and fraction. So they're like diagonal multiplication, right? But that's true if there's an equal sign. If it's not an equal sign, this equals AC over BD. That's different. That you multiply straight across. Okay? Multiplication, you multiply straight across. You don't multiply it diagonally. Okay? But when you have fractions equal to other fractions, then you multiply diagonally. All right? So just be careful with that. I see it way too many times that people just automatically start multiplying diagonally because they see fractions and fractions. So they're like, oh yeah, two fractions, diagonal multiplication. It's only if they're separated by an equal sign. Okay? So let me give you guys a couple of simple examples, a couple of more difficult ones, I guess we could call them, and then I'll give you guys your assignment, okay? So here we go. Example number 1. We're just going to solve. So the first one, we'll just put like 10 over n is equal to 7 over 2. Now, a lot of times the answers come out as fractions, and that's okay. All right, just reduce them as much as possible, and you're good. Okay, so don't freak out if you get decimals. It's all right. So, according to a fraction being equal to a fraction, I got to multiply diagonally. So let me multiply 10 times 2 and 7 times n. So that's 20 equal to 7n. So I just have to divide both sides by 7 and I'm done. So n is equal to 20 over 7. Notice I can't reduce that, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to actually figure out that that's like, what would that be? Remainder 6, so it's going to be 2 remainder, or 2 and 6/7. 2 and 6/7. So you can write that if you want to. You can divide it out if you want to. But I just leave it as a fraction. Just easier, right? Reduce as much as you can and then leave it alone. Okay, so that would be one example. Let me show you one more. Again, these are the easier ones. So let's say they give you like x over 10 equal to 8 over 6. Now sometimes students will ask me, can I reduce on the right side 8 over 6? Can I reduce that first before I do my multiplication? If I were you, I would, but you don't have to. Because if you reduce it, then that means when you multiply, the numbers come out smaller. If you leave it in its bigger form, right, 8 times 10 is 80. If I were to reduce it, that would become, would that be 4/3? 4 times 10 is 40. It's half the size, right? So if I were you, I would reduce it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So I divided 8 and 6 by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now let me do multiplication. So 10 times 4 is equal to 3 times x. And you can put them, by the way, in any order. You could put 3 times x on the left side and 10 times 4 on the right side. It doesn't matter. Okay, you choose. All right, you choose. So 10 times 4, that's 40. Equal to 3x. And we're going to divide by 3 to solve for this. And 40 does not get divided by 3. So there you go. This is just going to be my answer. It's a fraction, 40 over 3. Just reduce it as much as you can and then leave it. Okay. If you want to write it as a mixed number, meaning like a big number and then a fraction after it, feel free. But leaving it as an improper fraction is perfectly fine. Okay. So these are the easier problems. The harder ones, they don't necessarily require anything special. You're still going to multiply, but the thing is you might end up with some distribution in the problem. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So example number 2. Still solve. And we're still doing solving here. So let's say we have x minus 3 over 4 equal to x plus 1 over 2. Notice it's still a fraction equal to a fraction. Okay, we still have fractions equal to fractions. So we're still going to multiply stuff out. And remember, you can multiply it however you'd like. You can do 4 times x plus 1 first, or you can do 2 times x minus 3 first. It doesn't matter. Just pick any multiplication that's diagonal. Let's do the 2 times x minus 3 first here. So 2 times x minus 3 will be 4 times x plus 1. Again, it doesn't matter. If you wrote 4 times x plus 1 on the left side and 2 times x minus 3 on the right side, it makes no difference. Okay? So let's go ahead and distribute now. Okay? That's what we have to do. We're going to distribute this stuff over here. So this is 2x minus 6 equals to 4x plus 4. Now this stuff you guys should be able to do. This is just multiple step solving of equations, right? Algebra 1 type stuff as well. So let's move the 2x to the right side. It's the smaller x value. So we'll subtract 2x. So that gives me negative 6 equals to 2x plus 4. We'll subtract 4 on both sides. So minus 4 minus 4, that's a negative 10 equal to 2x. And then I'll divide everything by 2 and I'm done. So x is equal to negative 5. And there's my answer. Negative 5 is x. So I'm going to give you one more for you guys to try, and then I'm just going to kind of pause the video and let you guys try to finish it up. Then I'll go over it really quick so you can just check your answer. And then I'll give you guys homework. Okay? So here's the last one. Let's make it a homework problem so that way at least you're progressing in your homework problems. V minus 9 over V minus 8 is equal to 6 over 12. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to let you guys work on this for a couple minutes and then we'll come back. All right, so for this problem, again, if I were you, I see the 6 over 12 on the right side. I would reduce it to a half just to make the numbers a little bit easier. So V minus 9 over V minus 8 is equal to 1 over 2. And then I'm going to cross multiply, okay? So 2 times V minus 9 is equal to 1 times V minus 8. Okay, I did cross multiplication, right, diagonally. So that's 2V minus 18 is equal to V minus 8. Remember, you can do it however you want. If you're looking at your work and your 2 times V minus 9 is on the right side, that's okay. As long as your 1 times V minus 8 is on the left, right? Don't do 2 times V minus 8, then you did it wrong. You multiplied straight across. That's only if you're multiplying with the multiplication in the middle, not with an equal sign. So, all right, we'll subtract V from both sides here, minus V. So that gives me V minus 18 is equal to negative 8. So if I add 18, what should my answer be? Anybody get it? How much? 10. Yeah, it should be 10. All right, so this is what you guys have for homework. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, give you guys the homework. Hopefully you get it done in class.